So many times I've heard people say, well, you can't put yourself first. You got to put their wants and their needs before yours, because if not, you're selfish. You're selfish. Even in the church, I've heard this message. You let me know what you think in the comments. But I've heard this for so long that if I thought about what I wanted and what I needed, that was being selfish. And I should be thinking about that other person. You know, that can lead into a codependent type of love. But let's dig it up. If this is your first time here, I'm Mari. Here I have real talk on the root causes as to why we choose toxic or dysfunctional relationships. It's like I always say, we can talk about them all day long. But they've moved on, boo-boo. And you're still talking about it and still choosing that same type of person. So we need to look at why we choose, so we don't keep choosing unhealthy or toxic relationships. If this is your first time here, I welcome you to my channel. Welcome, welcome. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let's dig it up. So today, I want to talk about, people coined the phrase self-love. It's been used to death. So let's just say you're worthy enough. You find yourself worthy enough of love and of good things and of being valued and appreciated. So again, you know, they've coined it self-love. I'm not saying it's not that, but it's been used so often that, you know, I kind of want to deviate from, you know, the term, but you all get what it means. So, you know, people, and again, I mentioned it briefly in the church, like to say, oh, well, you know, you're not supposed to do that. And that's why, real talk, sometimes when you're in a dysfunctional relationship, you'll go to this man of God or this woman of God and they'll say, oh, you know, just stay there because we're supposed to forgive. Well, yeah, we forgive, but that doesn't mean we stay with that toxic individual. I talked about this in a previous video. I'll put that link down below if you want to see that. But I don't want to digress into that. You can check that out later. But it doesn't mean that we stay with that person. When we love ourselves, we understand that we're worthy and we don't need to be treated poorly and we don't need to settle for less. So that's not a bad thing, to love and value yourself. You know, it's what you're supposed to do. Love and value yourself enough that you don't accept poor treatment, that you don't settle. And I mainly talk about relationships, but it could be a job. You know, you're settling for something that you absolutely hate. I did it for 17 years. I absolutely hated it. Now you might say, well, I got bills, Marty. You know, again, that's another video. I'll put the link to that. It's the first video I did when I left Egypt, which I call, I'm not going to say where I worked, but where I worked, when I left that job after 17 years, I did a video. And again, I'll put the link down below. I titled it, Is It Wise to Step Out on Faith? Because they thought I was nuts. But I don't want to deviate from what the message is today, but I was in something that I hated. So if you're in something that you hate, whether it be a job or a relationship, you need to look at that. You know, you need to look at that because, and be careful of the messages you get. My thoughts are everywhere on this, but I'm going to go there. You know, some people will say, oh, well, any job you get, it has something that you don't. Yeah, you need to look at that, because for me, I was utterly miserable there. So yeah, every job doesn't have that. And you may not have, as I call, W2 mindset. Maybe it's for you to step out. But again, that's a whole nother video. I don't want to deviate into that. I'll put the links to both videos down below. You could check them out later. But getting back to what we were talking about, you can't pour from an empty cup. So yeah, you have to love and value yourself, you know, in order to, in that relationship, rather. You can't put their wants and their needs before yours. I've done it. And then you leave yourself behind and you're not getting what you want and need. That's not selfish. You're entitled to get, well, I don't like that word. You can use, well, we can say entitled, but you're worthy. Let's use that word. You're worthy, and entitled fits too, but I just like, you're worthy of good things. Now, there's so many messages out there, you know, certain pastors even talking about it. Oh, you're so great. You're so wonderful. I give all honor and praise to God right now. This is not about that. But when you know who He created you to be, then you won't settle, because you know you are amazing. not because of yourself, but because of who he created you to be, in a humble way. But again, I don't want to deviate, but there's so many things I could go in on this about, because we're not supposed to love that person more than we love ourselves, more than and then of course, we love the Lord above all else. But when we don't value ourselves and we don't have this love for ourselves, it's going to manifest. We're going to have that person that's abusing us because we don't really love ourselves. So we're going to accept poor behavior. I touched on this before, but someone said to me, why don't you talk about self-love? And that's why we're going here today, because I go by what the Spirit gives me, or if I hear something that resonates with me. I don't want to do it like everybody else. I don't want to give sugar coated, hey, like I talked in another video, 6 ways to get him back. I don't want him back, boo. So I don't really need that advice. That doesn't really work for me. I like to share real talk on how we can get out of these dysfunctional relationships. And in my last video, I talked about the new coaching program that I'm also starting up. I'm excited about that. So if you need help, breaking these cycles, and you want a different way instead of everything that's been, that's out there. To me, it's just the same old thing, but they don't talk about the root causes as to why we choose these things and how to break free. We want to be free. I don't want to talk about him all day long and 6 ways, to get him back, or what is he doing? Oh, is he thinking about me? Yeah. Are you thinking about yourself? Getting back to the whole self-love. When you love yourself, you need to heal. You think about what you need, and you think about what's best for you, and it wasn't him. So just, again, I could go off on that. But again, today, the message that I want to bring home is that you should love and value yourself first and foremost. That person shouldn't be first. That his wants and her wants, her needs above your own, because you leave yourself behind. And I'm not saying that we don't consider, because I hear somebody, oh no, well, we got to think about the other person. And, I'm not saying that. I'm saying you don't put their wants and needs above your own. Because again, I'll say it again, for those in the back that didn't catch it, you can't pour from an empty cup. You cannot. And so that's what I have on today. I could go on, but I can be long-winded. Some of you may know. But let me know what you think in the comments. That's all I have for today. Love yourself. Love yourself, and know that you are worthy of good things. And that it's okay to put yourself first. It's not okay to codependently, because I've done that too, put their wants and their needs. Oh my gosh, what do they need? Oh, but what are they going to think? Oh, but they need me to do that. And you leave yourself behind. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Again, that's being codependent, and that's a whole nother video in itself, talking about codependency and what that is. But I hope that this helped today to clear some of that up. If you're struggling with, oh, but I gotta, you're thinking so much about him or her or what they, because again, I was there and I'm like, oh my gosh, but I have to. What about them? No, they'll be okay. When you set boundaries, they'll adjust. They'll be fine. But let me know what you think in the comments. I love your comments. I love to read them. Let me know if this helped you. If you could think of anybody else that it may help. Again, please like, share, and subscribe. As I always say, my prayer is that someone will break free from these cycles. So let me know what you think. This is Mari. God bless.